Good evening. You are tuned in to AWANI Tonight with me, Cynthia Ng. Khazanah Nasional Berhad recorded a 22% increase in investments for the 2024 financial year with a new asset value of 103.6 billion ringgit. This is an increase of 18.8 billion ringgit from the 2023 financial year, marking a significant growth in its investments. Khazanah's reliable asset value, which comprises market value of all equities, securities and cash held, grew 12% to 151.3 billion ringgit. Managing Director Dato' Amirul Faisal Wan Zahir attributed last year's positive figures to strong domestic market performance, growth of public equities in developed markets and the recovery in emerging markets. However, operating profits stood at 5.1 billion ringgit, lower than the 5.9 billion ringgit posted in the previous year.
And that came from a steady income from dividends. We also maintain a very active and disciplined monetization strategy, capitalizing on favorable markets. And we also had some value gains from our public market portfolio. Our dividends, we continue paying dividends. Last year we paid 1 billion. There was additional taxes and also various contributions to the government via other means as well. Our balance sheet remains healthy.
At the same time, Khazanah Nasional cautions that 2025 will not be an easy year, citing higher interest rates and a stronger US dollar. Moving forward, Dato' Amirul Faisal Wan Zahir says the Sovereign Wealth Fund will continue diversifying and strengthening its global portfolio.
Short term, what we see, of course, the immediate thing that we see is US. The US policies has a big impact on the rest of the world. With Trump coming in, you can hear his policies of low energy, low taxes, and also favoring the domestic businesses. It's actually quite inflationary, meaning to say that our view is we're likely to see rates higher for longer, given the policies that they have, which also means that we're going to see higher, stronger dollar, perhaps going forward relatively to the other world currencies. So it's not going to be easy.
Faisal added that Malaysia would need to play smart, being caught in between the US and China's trade war. He noted that the country would have to drive value creation while focusing on sustainable growth.
Malaysia and Uzbekistan are exploring the establishment of an industrial zone in Uzbekistan. Both countries agree that this would pave the way for sharing of best practices in industrial park development and attract investors. The two countries also reaffirmed their commitment to strengthening bilateral ties across several sectors, including anti-corruption efforts, education, research and tourism. Uzbekistan has also shown interest in collaborating with Malaysia's Petronas on petrochemicals and clean energy initiatives. Uzbekistan President Shavkat Mirziyoyev is on a two-day official visit to Malaysia since Wednesday. Diplomatic relations between Malaysia and Uzbekistan date back to 1992, with total bilateral trade reaching 370 million ringgit in 2024. We will be back with more after the break.
Kerap menggaru kulit kepala disebabkan keluh mumur, masalahnya lebih mendalam. Gunalah Head & Shoulders menembusi 5 lapisan untuk membasmi keluh mumur dan kegatalan. Bebas keluh mumur sehingga 100%. Head & Shoulders diuji secara dermatologi.
Donald Trump says the US will take control of the Gaza Strip, develop and own it, but only after Palestinians are relocated elsewhere. Trump made the surprise announcement alongside Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, but offered no further details. The proposal, a stark shift in US policy on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, has sparked widespread criticism.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. I can tell you, I spoke to other leaders of countries in the Middle East, and they love the idea. They say it would really bring stability, and what we need is stability. Yes, sir.
But the pushback was immediate. Saudi Arabia stressed its rejection of any attempt to displace Palestinians from their land and said it would not establish relations with Israel, a key U.S. goal with the establishment of a Palestinian state. Other Arab nations, including Egypt, Jordan, the UAE, Qatar, and the Arab League, have also repeatedly opposed any forced relocation of Palestinians from Gaza or the West Bank.
What is the implication of Trump's proposal for the U.S. to take over Gaza? Besides displacing millions of Palestinians, Professor Datuk Dr. Rahmat Mohamad from MyAXA says the move will heighten tensions and undermine the peace process in Gaza.
Undermine the current work of peace sponsored by countries like Qatar, UAE, and Egypt. I think they are doing a very good job. So with this idea of clearing Gaza and owning Gaza is something that would undermine that position. And I think it is also a recipe for creating chaos and tension in the Middle East, because when you have countries like Iran on the other side, and Syria is still not clear from its political stability, and then you have, of course, the Gulf countries like Qatar and UAE, and of course Egypt and Jordan. So I think it will create more tension in the Middle East.
Rahmat also said it would be nearly impossible for the US to receive support from other countries to proceed with the plan.
This is 21st century, is unacceptable. You are accountable for your action, and and I think US cannot do it alone. They will not have allied. I don't think all the European countries would be in support of President Trump in unilaterally trying to get rid of Palestinian, move to other state and ensuring that they want to do something, and of course perhaps you can do that in America, but you cannot just simply move in, and there is this term called aggression, under international law, that the moment you mention that, being a leader of a country, you are you bound yourself, and under international law, the head of government is accountable, and what you say is actually what the current position of the country. So it's not really, it does not gel well with what people on the ground are thinking.
Now, along with Arab nations, countries such as Britain, France, Spain and Australia have already rejected Trump's proposal for the US to take over Gaza. What legal recourse or response can the international community take?
You have a situation now where countries are going into asking for legal remedies from ICJ, for example, knowing that it is not binding, but still that is an indicator, a strong indication that out of frustration and disappointment that they can't get that justice through UNSC and of course General Assembly, they have to go to, and you see the numbers of countries joining, in case of genocide, for example, South Africa and also the illegal settlement, and now with UNRWA, there will be countries, going together and, in collaboration with others in ensuring that at least this is something that they can do for Palestine, and there's also collaboration among countries to find solution to end genocide, war crimes, and also crime against humanity. For example, the latest development is the formation of the Hague Group. Malaysia is one of the members of this hate group. I think they are working together to find solution, and I think what is more important also is to impress the American community that what the government is doing is totally unacceptable. It is illegal under international law, and they will demonstrate. They will go through demonstration and tell the government that it is wrong to do that. I think the media have shown us that many Americans are not full-heartedly or join President Trump.
The U.S. Postal Service says it will stop accepting parcels from mainland China and Hong Kong until further notice. No reason was given for the suspension, but said in a statement that the flow of letters will not be affected.
The announcement comes just days after U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order ending a long-standing rule that allowed duty-free entry for packages under $800. A policy his administration said has made it easier to smuggle fentanyl and other illicit goods into the U.S. The U.S. imports nearly 4 million of these low-value parcels daily, mostly from China, with minimal customs inspection. The suspension is expected to hit e-commerce giants like Shein and Temu hard, and comes on the heels of a new 10% tariff on Chinese imports that took effect Tuesday.
The Philippine lower house of Congress has endorsed an impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte. The impeachment bill will now move to the upper house, where 23 senators will serve as jurors. If the proceedings proceed, they could lead to her removal from office and a lifetime ban from holding any future government position.
Duterte would be the Philippines' second most senior official to face removal from office. She faced 4 complaints over her alleged misuse of millions in public funds and her pronouncements that she had made plans to assassinate President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Duterte has denied wrongdoing, calling the move a political vendetta. House Secretary General Reginald Velasco confirmed that 215 of 306 lawmakers endorsed an impeachment complaint. The move against Sara Duterte comes amid a bitter rift between her and Marcos Jr. that has played out in public, following the collapse of a powerful alliance between their families that brought them a landslide victory in the 2022 election.
Thailand will suspend electricity supply to certain border areas it shares with Myanmar to curb scam operations. Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra says talks will be held with the National Security Council to further address the issue. The council's chief said evidence pointed to transnational crime syndicates operating in Myanmar's Tachileg, Myawaddy and Payatonzu, areas likely to be targeted by the power cuts. The crackdown comes after a high-profile case involving Chinese actor Wang Xing, who was abducted after arriving in Thailand last month. Paetongtarn acknowledged that the incident has impacted Thailand's image and tourism industry, in which Chinese visitors are a key market. The United Nations reports that hundreds of thousands of people have been trafficked by criminal gangs and forced to work in scam compounds and illegal online operations across Southeast Asia. It is estimated that the fast-growing operations generate billions of dollars annually. That wraps up AWANI Tonight. I'm Cynthia Ng. Thank you for watching. Good night.